Um, Saturday, what happened Saturday? Um, Hold on. Shout out to Simone Redwine.
Hey y'all, I'm your legal bestie, Attorney Simone, and in this video, I break down the real reason in the Karmelo Anthony trial why there were no black jurors, why they all were struck. Hit that like and hit that subscribe. And don't forget, you can always book a free consultation with me if you are injured anywhere in the nation. Myself and my legal team can represent you. We'd be happy to. Or you can book a
Make sure
consultation
I clicked
with
on the right
me for
one.
a non-injury matter by calling 855-4-SIMONE, SYMONE, or going to SimoneRedwine.com. Now, with the Carmelo Anthony trial, this is a trial of a teenager in the Frisco, Texas area, which is a suburb of DFW, Dallas, where he was at a track meet when a boy named Austin Metcalf was pulling a Karen. It was rainy, there was a track meet, and Carmelo's school did not have a tarp to protect its students from the rain. It began raining. Carmelo saw a friend of his, went over to that tent to greet his friend, and was sitting under there with the friend when Austin decided to be a Karen, and he assaulted Carmelo, shoved him, pushed him out of the tent. Carmelo then pulled out a pocket knife, jabbed him, and unfortunately that one jab killed Austin. He was unalived. So what we're talking about here, though, this video is specifically what happened with the jury pool. Now, here's how the jury works in the state of Texas for an unaliving trial like this one, which is first degree big M word. We're going to use YouTube talk. Now, 589 residents were summoned for the jury. Those are people of all races that were allegedly Collin County residents. Now, what happens is, of those 589, that does not mean there were 589 people who were qualified. That means that's who showed up. Now, what happens is step one is either side, on the prosecution side or the defense side, they are able to talk to the jurors in front of the judge and ask questions, and jurors are first struck for failure to qualify for jury service. So some of the reasons could be they don't actually live in the county anymore, maybe there are citizenship issues, or different types of hardships that can excuse that person from jury duty. That usually happens because that potential juror raises their hand and says, hey, Your Honor, I can't serve on this jury because I'm taking heart medication, or I have this health issue where my medication won't allow me to basically pay attention to everything for this trial. Maybe I have doctor appointments. Another reason could be financial hardship, or literally, I can't afford to miss work. You are allowed to tell the judge that because you only get $20 a day. So there's that. You get $20 your first day, and I believe it's like 58 each subsequent day in that county. You can also say, hey, Your Honor, I need to be excused because I've got childcare issues. That you, for example, if you know the defendant or some of the witnesses, you can be excused for that reason. Or if you have already formed a fixed opinion because of media coverage that you've seen, where you just feel like you cannot put that aside, that's another reason that you can be dismissed from the jury. Or if you just let them know, hey, I can't follow the law. That's always a reason. Literally, if you say I can't follow the law, that means you have to be dismissed for cause. But just to let you know, step one is they basically dismiss certain jurors for not qualifying from the initial pool. Also, every juror, before they show up, they complete what's called a jury questionnaire. Now, that questionnaire gives both sides, the state and the defense, information about that person. It gives their age, it gives their race, it gives their political party, or at least it asks their political party and affiliation. And so both sides, you go through those answers and you make stacks of who you like and who you don't like. And you could not like someone because maybe you feel like, oh, okay, I think this guy is going to be super Republican. I think their job says that they are, I don't know, maybe they're going to be I don't know, maybe they're going to basically have a job where you think, maybe they work for, what's that Charlie Kirk company? Whatever, Turning Point USA. And you're like, hell no, they going to hate the blacks. Whatever it is, you can make a stack of why of who you think you like and ultimately want to be on the jury and who you don't, right? But what you need to keep in mind is that there are two ways someone can be dismissed from the jury pool. Either for cause or based on what's called a preemptive strike. Now, cause means they can't follow the law, they don't qualify. I just gave those examples. But if they meet cause, if basically they meet all the criteria to be a juror, you can also get rid of them if you just don't like them. So each side is given what's called 10 preemptory strikes. Think of it this way: 10 times you can dismiss someone for no reason or any reason at all, as long as it's not an illegal reason. An illegal reason, and this would be the reason we're going to stick with for this conversation, would be based on race, right? You cannot dismiss someone based on race. You also can't do it based on religion, just FYI. You can't say, oh, I don't want any Muslims on this jury. Oh, I don't want any Christians on this jury. Can't do that. But here we're going to stick with race. So what happened was, first they dismissed people who had hardships and were like, hey, I can't do it. And then second, what happens, step two, what happens there is that the attorneys start to question the panel. They're in a big room and they ask generic questions to everyone in the room, and they'll say things like, raise your hand if you could never convict someone who said that they were bullied. All right. Well, anyone who raises their hand, the state is going to say, oh, we don't want them on the jury because they're likely going to be too biased. Now, if you're biased like that, then you look to the judge, and if they say, oh, you go to the judge, you say, Judge, I'd like this person to be dismissed for cause. That way you don't have to use one of your 10, but for cause because they can't follow the law, as an example. So a lot of people were dismissed for reasons like that. Or maybe the question was, the attorneys asked the jury and say, is there anybody here who could never believe self-defense if someone used a knife? You could never say, oh, it's self-defense if the defendant used a knife, right? And they raise their hand. That would mean there's a bias there, and you get them dismissed for cause. If they said, oh, is there anyone here who believes that teenagers today are violent? They're just generally violent. If so, that means there's a bias against teenagers. I say that to say,
it's definitely not for everyone, though, especially
Good
since it's
morning,
a startup
people.
company, with this being.
they're just generally violent. If so, that means there's a bias against teenagers. I say that to say, based on the numbers, the majority of the blacks that were dismissed from the jury pool ended up being dismissed because they as in the state, was able to solicit some type of bias to get them kicked off the jury. Let me give you a better example. One of the questions they like to ask is, hey, if you feel that, if the police arrested the defendant, he must have done something wrong. That means that would be a bias, right? So there probably some old white lady who says, yeah, if the police arrested him, he must have did something wrong. That would be someone who could be dismissed from cause, and you want to get her the hell out of there. You don't want someone who's just automatically going to go with what the jury said. Well, reports from CBS News said that one of the questions that got some of the African Americans out, or one of the comments rather, is that, for example, there was an African American prospective juror, bless his heart, and when asked, could he be fair effectively, he said, quote unquote, I'm going to have a hard time putting a brother in jail. Sir, shut up! Shut up. So that's an example of someone who showed up qualified but got dismissed for cause, because when you say that, it is assumed that you can't follow the law. But here's what's crazy. I have seen multiple times white folks say stuff like that all the time. Oh, but they won't say race. That's the difference. A white person will say, I'm going to have, because what happens is the defendant is sitting there. So you can see that it's a black person, white person, whatever. They might say, oh, I might have a trouble, just finding that the police lied or whatever it is. And then in turn, you can see their bias. But what happens here is, in the end, as long as that person could follow the law, they qualify to be on the jury. So I say this to say, if you're a brown person who literally feels like you would have trouble putting a brother in jail, you need to be on the jury. You need to be on the jury. So number one, shut up. Zip it, okay? You need to zip it. Because they need people on the jury who are going to literally evaluate the case based on reasonable doubt. It's okay if you're going to have difficulty finding a brother guilty, so long as you could, if the facts reveal beyond a reasonable doubt he did it. You see what I'm saying? Because the truth of the matter is there are a number of Caucasians who wanted to be on that jury. They are excited. They want to represent their county and their town and all that stuff. So you know what they did when they got in there? They didn't say shit. They didn't raise their hand for nothing. They didn't volunteer. Oops. They didn't volunteer for nothing because they want to be on a jury. So my point is, I need more African Americans. If you want us to have a fair shot of justice in the law, do not get up there and talk about how your cousin was shot by a cop, so you don't think you can be fair. They don't need to know that. If you can be fair, if you can have that experience of your cousin being shot by a cop, maybe that's going to make you listen to the evidence more carefully. That's a good thing. At the end of the day, you got to think about it this way. If it was your son who was a defendant, would you want people like you on the jury? If so, sit there and zip it. Don't say nothing stupid. And when asked anything, you say, I can follow the law, Your Honor. I can follow the law. Because it's not supposed to be an easy thing to sentence a brother, a sister, a human for their life to be taken away. This young man is facing life. He's facing life in prison. This charge, the maximum he can receive is life. So for that reason, there wasn't nothing wrong within your mind knowing you are really going to need some strong evidence here. That's how it should be. But consistently, blacks are disproportionately going to have certain hardships where we can't serve jury duty. This trial, for example, is going through Saturdays. I ain't seen it. So if you cannot afford to not work during the week or on a Saturday, or maybe you don't have childcare for your kids during the week and on a Saturday, so maybe you have to raise your hand and get excused for that. Got it. But for the rest of those who were left, we need you there. Because ultimately, it came down to this. After all of the four cause, so all of the other blacks that showed up, and we don't know exactly how many who showed up, but we know that Collin County is 10% black. On the high end, let's say 60 showed up. Let me say, or 60 would be 10% of the 589, right? So if 60 showed and they got down to 3, and the 3 blacks were all black female educators, that means that the state was able to ask questions in a way that got 57.
It's not a phase, it's the doodle lifestyle. The innovative Furminator doodle grooming system tames coat chaos. It detangles, tackles knots, and keeps curls clean and soft. Furminator, designed for doodles.
We started using Fin Voice as soon as we learned about it. That really has turned our phone operation into a 24/7 availability for our customers.
Of these brothers and sisters to say things to elicit such responses that revealed enough bias where the judge felt comfortable dismissing them for cause, meaning the state didn't even have to use any of their strikes, any of their 10 strikes where they could get rid of someone for no reason. Now, why did those last 3 black women get struck from the jury? Because I think many of you may have heard about that from the news. So what ended up happening is after all the questions that were used to solicit bias or that someone didn't qualify, etc., were asked, they were down to 3 potential African Americans for the jury. All 3 of those were black women. The state struck them. Defense objected. What happens is they objected and they said, Your Honor, we think these are improper dismissals, that they were race-based. The burden then shifts to the state to give a race-neutral reason why they dismissed them. What the state said is, we didn't dismiss those ladies because they were black. We dismissed them because they were all educators in the district, and we think they may see the facts more favorable for the defendant. You can do that. You can do that. That is not impermissible under the law. So I say that to say, if there's a duality that was at issue here. So now, if they really were dismissing those 3 black ladies because they were black ladies and they thought, I think these black ladies are going to find in his favor, there's not really any way to contrast that due to the fact that those 3 also happen to be educators, and it's totally okay to dismiss educators. Now, one question, though, that I did have is, did they dismiss any white educators? I would be curious to know, are there any educators for Frisco ISD at all on the jury? I don't believe that there are.
Probably not.
They said that there are some Hispanic jurors. There are 5 white male jurors. Woo, them white male jurors ain't gonna have not a lick of sympathy for that young man.
They're not.
Not one. So we're definitely gonna have to stay tuned on the facts, stay tuned. But as of now, from what I've been reviewing and hearing and using my contacts on the ground, the white men ain't buying it. They ain't buying self-defense. They ain't buying it. They're not buying it. So drop your questions in the chat below. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. I'm also going to do a subsequent video where I'm going to break.
Now we're going to go to Nick at Night.
All right. Hey, what's up? It's your girl, Neek, and you're tuned in to Neek at Night. Now, I have been inside the courtroom for the Karmelo Anthony trial every single day this week. For those of you guys who have been keeping up with the case, then you know today was a full-on court day from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and there was a lot of key evidence that happened in this trial. Now, along with today being a lot of action-packed testimony, I was also in the courtroom just like every other day. I was in the courtroom yesterday. Now, I briefly started to do a live video last night. I was pretty tired, so I put it on private, but everything that happened yesterday, everything that happened today, we're gonna get on into it in this video right after my intro. I wanna give some people some time to come on into my live. Make sure that you guys share the live, retweet the live, let people know that we're live over here. I'm gonna give y'all 3 minutes to come on into the room.
Listen up! Critics and audiences are raving about Masters of the Universe. Masters delivers.
Oh yeah.
He's a cosmic blast. Let him do his thing. The first great blockbuster of the summer. Does it feel good? Masters of the Universe, rated PG-13. Now,
Give y'all 3 minutes to come on into the room, and then we're gonna get on into everything. We are out here in Beverly Hills with Raz B. I haven't seen you on the scene in a minute, so let the people know what you've been up to. Hey, what's up? I got Amara Lanegra here with me tonight at the Toast to Young Hollywood event. Hey guys, so I have the beautiful Layla Ali with me tonight. So I just want to first start off by saying your Instagram is an inspiration to go on a path to eat healthy, and you know, it is your 50th birthday. You don't look a day over 25.
You know what?
Let us know how you do it.
First, everybody always say that. I think that's so cliche, and people know you don't look 25. Now, if you would have said maybe 40.
Hey, what's up? You're watching Neek at Night, and we have Keith Powers with us tonight.
How you doing?
You know, a lot of girls was like putting you as their, you know, man crush, and you was their, you know, aspiration to take you off the market. And when you came out with Bay, you crushed a lot of people. Like, hey guys, so I have Daniel Cormier with me tonight, and it's crazy because in my first UFC fight, fight happened to be your fight.
I'm glad you were able to watch the first fight that was mine and I won. Because that could be some bad memories.
Right. I mean, okay, I'm not going to lie. When I first seen it and I seen him come.
Look at my ass kicked.
Yeah.
Look at you.
I'm not going to tell a lie, okay? I'm going to keep it honest. Definitely experience, you guys. That's Amarian, and we're at his word for word screening. It was super dope. Make sure you check it out. It drops tomorrow, and you don't want to miss it.
Thank you, baby.
Thank you.
It's your partner, Big Boy. What's happening in Voice of Los Angeles? Hell.
Like the ones that look like they have kids and maybe probably already on the verge of having grandkids. It's not that many of them. But in my opinion, I think that the defense has already lost all of the older jurors. Anytime the defense talks, the oldest jurors in the room, because this is an unusual case where they have a larger amount of younger jurors than I usually am used to seeing in these cases. However, I feel as though the older jurors, he's going to have a damn good explanation as to why he had the knife to win them over. I think that so far, anytime they put like the 911 calls, or anytime they put like the body cam footage, like there is 2 women jurors who I never see them actually crying, but they're close. Like you can see them emotionally, like looking at the evidence. And what is also interesting is the layout of the courtroom. So the jurors are on the left side of the courtroom. The Metcalf family is also on the left side of the courtroom. Karmelo's on the right side because he is the defendant and he's positioned on the right. So naturally, his family is on the right. Now, being that the jurors are on the left and the Metcalfs are on the left, there are a lot of moments where showing the body cam, showing the 911 footage, and certain things like that, they are crying, sniffling, reaching for tissue, all of those things. And while they're doing that, they're in the line of sight of these older jurors who I'm looking at, like certain parts, they're looking at, like, they're not looking dead at the Metcalfs, but they are like, you can just feel it. Like, you can just feel the energy, like, especially like these particular jurors, like, I'm looking, and it's this one juror who always had her face, like, she's like me, like, how I feel, you can see it on my face. You know what I mean? Like, you can literally see on her face that she has a connection to the family, you know what I mean, and stuff like that. Like, you can tell because whenever the defense is speaking, it don't look like they, like, he's not like, I don't know if that makes sense. However, they still have next week to put on their case. And if Karmelo is able to basically have an explanation, because everything hangs on why he had the knife, right? And what is clear to me is there are several things that are clear, okay? What's clear is all of the students that were called by the prosecution, they sound very rehearsed. They sound, each and every one of them have a different story. Each person is saying, well, Karmelo said, touch me and find out. And another person is saying, he said, make me leave. And then another person is saying, oh, he called them some pussies and said, y'all pussy, like, each student has a different phrase or a different saying or a different thing. Like, all of their stories are different. One person is saying Hunter was involved. Another one saying he's not involved. But what's clear is majority of them are saying that they joined in on taunting him. They didn't say it in that way, but if a person is telling somebody leave, they don't belong there, and then you also are chiming in and saying, what are you doing here? You don't belong here. And then another student all is ganging up on one student, telling him he don't belong, and you got one student laughing about it, pulling out his phone, egging it on. To me, that sounds like a clear case of bullying. However, I don't think that them bullying him is enough to get over the knife portion of it, right? Because the prosecution has been driving home with every single witness, even the defense witnesses that were called today, that there was absolutely no reason why Karmelo Anthony should have had his knife, okay? They showed us a picture of the front of the school where there's this big blue banner that says ISD track meet, and it listed off a list of things that was considered prohibited items. So it was like, you can't bring in tobacco, you can't bring in weapons, you can't bring in, all of these different things. I'll have to go to my notes to get the exact list because I wrote it down. But it was saying like this list of items that you cannot bring in that are weapons. Now, outside of that meat, in the law, he can have a pocket knife. Now, one thing that I did note, and I think that everything that has been said so far is said for a reason.
Worry about theft of your mail and packages? Wouldn't it be great if you could view and manage your mail and packages when away on business, on vacation, or abroad? Want to know exactly what's in your P.O. box without calling or getting in the car? Are there times when you would love to have another address or phone number to use instead of your home address and personal number? We can help with your complete digital mailbox from iPostal One. You can manage your mail and lots more, all in one place, 24/7 from anywhere. You choose a mailbox address at any of the thousands of shipping stores or office buildings in our international network. When your mail arrives, we'll take a picture of the envelope or package, upload it to your account, and send you a notification. From there, just log in using our app or website and tell us what you want to do with each item, such as forward, scan, schedule a pickup, discard, or shred it. We'll do the rest. You can also add a phone line to forward calls, listen to voicemail messages, and receive faxes. You'll love the ease, convenience, and security of your complete digital mailbox powered by iPostal One. Stay connected 24/7, save time, stop mail and package theft, and protect your privacy. Sign up today.
You can get anything you want on the internet. So why are we still taking gen eds like this? At Sophia Learning, we have a solution. Sophia offers online college-level courses that are designed to transfer for credit, helping thousands of people graduate. Use Sophia and get ahead.
Then I'm wondering if the reason why the defense stated that he loved camping is because there's going to be a link to why he had the knife or why it was in his bag or something like that. Now, today they showed that Karmelo Anthony takes a lot of photos, okay? He has several photos with this one student that tried to downplay them knowing each other. They were able to show, hey, look at you and such here. Like you and he, Karmelo, he in your house. He, y'all together here, y'all playing basketball. The student tried to downplay, I only seen him 2 or 3 times. It wasn't really nothing. But then you see that their relationship is much more intimate than that. So you see clearly he's lying about his association with Karmelo, which then proves that he's most likely lying about a lot of the details that he's saying that clearly show you that he was a big instigator in this. Now, Austin approached him. Austin was the biggest one. And what they thought from listening to all their testimonies, Karmelo is a little skinny black boy. You got these big linebacker white boys, and then you got all these black kids that are also vouching these big white boys. So they felt empowered to, this is, they thought that he was a buster. I was like, you're a little punk. Like, basically, that's what all of their testimony proves at this point, that they looked at him, they prejudged him based on him being small, and they thought that they can punk him. And they thought that they was going to be able to punk him, and he was not going to defend himself. Okay? I believe that he defended himself. However, the fact that he had the knife to, like, it's a catch-22, because it's like, on one hand, you defended yourself, but on another hand, you weren't even supposed to have the knife in the first place to defend yourself. You get what I'm saying? So it's like a catch-22 type of situation. So they've proven that, and all of the students that were called by the prosecution, they sound extremely rehearsed. A lot of the comments that they're making are not natural conversations that a teenager would have. And it's not natural that every single teenager would use the same buzzwords. All of them are using the exact same buzzwords, and it sounds coached, it sounds rehearsed, and they sound like they're lying, okay? However, regardless of them lying, and regardless of them bullying him, because it's like, okay, he bullied you, and they're wrong for bullying you. And, you know, if they were bullying you, he put his hands on you, he pushed you, or whatever.
What?
You haven't, it wasn't equal force. You get what I'm saying? But it's clear they bullied him. That's not, that can't be contested. I don't care how much they try to paint it and say, Karmelo was the aggressor. He tried to goad him. That's BS. Anybody with critical thinking skills listening to those testimonies can tell that that's complete BS. The only major hurdle above that is the reason why he had that knife. Everybody wants to know, why did you have the knife in the first place? Because the prosecution is doing a really good job at driving home the fact that he should have never had it in the first place. Even the defense witnesses that they called today all corroborated that same fact, that he should not have never had it in the first place, right? Even their own witnesses were like, yeah, I do agree, he should have never had it in the first place. So in order for him, I feel like, kind of because the scales are leaning towards the prosecution. I'm gonna be on, I'm in the courtroom. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Even though I feel like, there are certain people surrounding the case that are trying to, even though they're making it seem like the case is going a particular way, they're misleading people on how it's actually going, because they're they're liars. But whatever. It's going a particular way only because they're trying to make it seem the kids are credible, they're telling the truth. They're not. It's clear that the kids are liars.
Yeah, I got a feeling some of these kids are being coached.
It's clear, and it's clear that they were bullying him. The only hang-up is what hurts him is him having it in the first place, because, like I said, every single witness, they are driving the fact, the prosecution is making it land, he's making it stick, and I don't think that the defense is doing a good enough job to, when the prosecution say, well, he should have never had it in the first place. And again, they have legal motions, they have 403 issues that they can't say certain stuff that we don't even know what they can or they can't say. There's motions that happened before trial even started, right? So in my head, I'm like, well, why you not, when the prosecution, bring it back to the fact of, well, he should have never had it in the first place. Why are you not bringing them back to the fact that it wasn't a situation where he was antagonizing them. You know, like
Yeah.
whenever they prove like, or they like make it land and they're like, well, because everybody knows that, like, I think the prosecution even knows that the kids are, their stories are clearly full of it. You know what I mean? Like trying to downplay their role. Like if you listen to each person's story, each person says, I told him he better go. And then another person testifies, I told him he better go. So if you got 5 kids telling you, you better leave, boy, and laughing at you and telling you, oh, you ain't got nothing in your bag. Oh, yeah, he's from Frisco. He ain't got nothing in his bag. That's the aggressors to me.
Right.
My moderate to severe ulcerative colitis symptoms kept me out of the picture. Skyrizi helps deliver symptom relief as early as 4 weeks and is proved
He ain't got nothing in his bag. That's the aggressors to me. And also he's not like they're talking about the tone and everything like that, but I don't think the defense is doing a good enough job to be like, so you mean to tell me a boy who came down, he was polite. They've proven that when he first came down, he was polite.
Yeah.
He didn't get, an attitude until they spoke to him. But I don't feel like he's doing a good enough job to drive home the fact that, you mean to tell me a boy that's respectful, he's asking people to move or whatever, like, no, like y'all came at him sideways. You were trying to intimidate him. You got 5 kids or so all trying to gang up on him, and he's betrayed by the one student he went to talk to that he been hanging out with for the last few months. He not speaking for him, so now he looking at all of y'all like ops. And they're not, but I feel like I still have to give them a little bit of time due to the fact that we still have time for next week for him to get on a stand and explain. Okay? I think that they should be able to explain how, you know what I mean? From his eyes, I see this big guy, he over 200 pounds, he's in my face, I'm small, I don't know what he's gonna do to me, I have nobody that has my back. The one person that I thought would have my back, he done switched up on me, so now I can't trust him, I'm outnumbered.
Yep.
I'm at a school. I went to a campground. I mean, not a campground. I went to a tent that I thought, and mind you, they also testified that he's been under that tent before. He's hung out at that tent, and they also showed photos of him and the one student that he went to go talk to hanging out at a bench together, and they're from different schools, and they had another witness prove that they all have mingled together under the tent. They show photos, etc. of, another track meet where him and the boy were sitting together. He's going to have to really bring them into his view. Because I'm here, I'm sitting down, I go to talk to a guy who, you see my relationship. We were cool, can you imagine, right? So this is the situation, and I'm gonna go through everything in a second, but I just wanted to say those things first. Okay, so this is the situation, right? Karmelo is dating this girl, okay, and I think that, and I don't know, but with the way kids are, it seems like because it almost seems like, it made me wonder, and another person had made this comment too, did old boy that he went to go talk to, he probably secretly, he's saying that the girl was his cousin, but did he secretly, was he secretly jealous of them being together? Because everything else is weird. Or is he just that much of a kid that wasn't raised on integrity? Because his integrity is in question. The way
Okay.
that he's operating, like he tried to say, oh, I only know him 2 to 3 times. He like his integrity like is questionable, extremely. But I wonder if on top of him not having a good integrity, was he jealous because they were dating and do like, you know what I mean? Or is there proof or whatever like that? But this is the situation. Karmelo is dating a girl, right? He's dating a girl and he
Okay.
goes to her family's house. He goes to her family's house and they are big on taking pictures. They take pictures all the time. And they have all of these family gatherings. You can tell that Karmelo's girlfriend comes from a very tight-knit, loving family. Like you can tell that, you know, that they pride themselves on family. Family is important, and because they have these gatherings and they always make sure that they're capturing the moments. And good thing they are able to capture the moments, because what if they never had all of these pictures to prove that this guy was lying about like knowing him and everything like that? So Karmelo has this girlfriend. He gets invited to a family gathering. At the family gathering, he meets this kid who the kid's family and the girlfriend's family are very close, so much close to where their offspring call each other cousins. Y'all know how y'all got your mama's best friend and the kids, you know, you say that's your cousin. That's their situation. Their families are so close that they call each other cousins, right? So Karmelo he's dating a girl. He's invited to the family. The family, you can tell, really likes Karmelo because of how in the pictures they showed us.
We're the oldest retailer in South Carolina, and being that we've been in business for 170 years makes a huge difference.
Really likes Karmelo because of how in the pictures they showed us, the girlfriend's mother, she's always like, you know, she's like close to him, smiling. Like you can tell that they really approved of their daughter dating him by the way they embrace him and make him feel a part of the family in those photos. Like if you look at the photos, you can't even tell like he's just a boyfriend. You know what I mean? Like they like the way that they include him, make sure he was included, make sure that they embraced him, make sure that he was close to them. You can tell that they really accepted him. So they accept him as the girl, the boyfriend, right? And a family friend, he meets this kid. Every time they're having gatherings, he's hanging out with this kid, right? The kid is even going on double dates with him, Karmelo and the girlfriend. And you thinking that he cool, like if y'all seen the photos of them together, like him and the kid, like they're goofing off, they're like doing this to the camera, like just being silly, and like there's a picture where Karmelo's like playing the guitar, and he's like playing the guitar, and then the other boys like being goofy, and they have pictures to where like they were really like vibing, like cool, like they were cool or whatever. It was more than just an acquaintance. You get what I'm saying? Like you have people that are associates you say hi and bye to, and then you have people who are like more than an acquaintance, like you more than cool. Like, you know, we vibing, like we kind of like, you know what I'm saying? We kind of function together, like we vibe together, we cool, like we have fun together. Like it's represented in the photos that they showed. And there were several events that they went to together. So imagine Karmelo, right? He's going to have to put the jury in his shoes, right? I have this kid that I have spent so many family close-knit moments with where we've had a good time. We didn't have no bad blood. You know, I've hung out with him on track meets 10 days prior. Me and him was kicking it at the track meet. There's pictures of us like sitting together, we having, you know, conversations. It's cool. We kicking it. We vibing. So imagine me thinking that that day would be any different, where we were just vibing 10 days prior. I go up to him and I say, what's up? We dap, and I sit down. It's clearly raining outside, and I'm just trying to have a conversation with him like I've had before. His friends come in from his school and start confronting me, coming at me sideways, and the guy who I've been finding to be like, I thought was the homie, is letting his schoolmates come at me sideways. He's not even checking them for talking to me crazy. I only have myself to have my own back, right? So he's sitting there. He don't have nobody on his side. It's him against an entire school of kids that feel like because he's small, they can punk him. So, and on top of that, the guy that he thought was cool and a homie is egging them on to taunt him. So imagine, it's not even just about Austin telling you to get out the tent. It's the fact that this guy who ain't nobody said nothing to me but him, he comes to me and talks to me sideways. You don't say
Typical
nothing.
white
You're letting
boy.
them talk to me sideways, and we supposed to be cool. Then it's all these other kids, because I was under the impression the way that the media was talking, especially because there's this one woman who has a connection to the Metcalf family, and she she spreads like a lot of hate online. So I thought that these were gonna be some kids that are nothing, like they surrounded by nothing but white kids. It's probably an all-white school. This was what I thought, based on the people who are connected to the Metcalf family and how they spew all of this hate online. I thought that the school was going to be a reflection of that. They have shown that the school is diverse based on who they strategically called to the stand, right? They strategically called a number of black kids to the stand, and they strategically called less white kids. So in my mind, seeing that there's all these mouthpieces that, there's people who spew a lot of hate online, but like at the courthouse, you know what I mean? They you see them embracing the Metcalfs are talking to them, and you know what I mean? So I thought that the school was going to be a reflection of hate. However, there's been a lot of students that go to that school that have been coming to the courthouse, like that are not testifying. They're polite, they're sweet kids, like you can tell, like they're like that, like they're not, like it's not like that, like so, like I'm not like I'm just like I'm not on the jury, so the jury only can go off of who is testifying, right? I'm looking at the complete picture. I'm like, damn, like what I thought the school was gonna be like. I'm seeing all these racists spewing all this negative stuff. So I'm like, in my head, I'm like,
Cloud-enabled availability is modernization at its best, including workflow-driven modules, helping to deliver better care for more people. Philips Cardiovascular Works.
These racists spewing all this negative stuff. So I'm like, in my head, I'm like, they're going to a school, and it's probably nothing but white kids that hate black people. You get what I'm saying? That's what I thought based on the racists that are speaking out and making this a race thing. But the prosecution has done a very good job at putting on a lot of black kids. And these black kids are vouching for him. And, they love him so much that they would clearly lie for him on the stand, because the kids are clearly lying. Like, none of their stories match. You know what I mean? Like, everybody's saying something different. So it's like they would even lie for him to the fact. And then on top of that, like they would join in in helping bully a black kid, right? So you have all of these kids that are testifying. The boy who he went to and talked to today, I don't know what his nationality is, but he looks mixed, right? To me, I don't know. Like if I just seen him walking down the street, I would think that his parents, like he had at least one black parent. Now the parent that was in the courtroom is not black, but I would think that his father probably is black. He looks mixed, right? Then you had a lot of other kids that testified on the stand that were black kids. You know what I mean? And so they're doing a good job at trying to paint the picture like it's not that these are white racist kids. Look at all his black friends. You get what I'm saying? It's like, look, he has like, they have all, look, they're not racist. Look, they got black friends. You know? And so, cause I was like, what I thought going in is not what I'm seeing. And they know the rhetoric online, right? They know the rhetoric is, it's whites against blacks. So they're showing, look, this black kid loves Austin. He's crying on the stand. And when he cries, the mother look like, you know, because they putting the black kids on the stand and they're breaking down and crying, right? One of them start crying and then immediately it set off his mama. She's boo-hoo crying, like, you know what I mean? And the family's crying and like, look, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just a whole little thing going on, right? Then you have the fact that the prosecution is like, he keeps like, I don't know if y'all understand what I'm saying. Some people think that my explanation is biased. I don't know where you get bias from. If anything, I'm telling you the real. Like, I'm like, this is what is going on in the courtroom. The problem with bloggers is a lot of times you guys will look at like skewed narratives. I don't care that there are racists around the court and spewing hateful things. That's not in my heart, right? Like, it's not in my heart to be a liar. So I wouldn't lie on the case for what? Like, you can always go and get transcripts later. So it's no point to lie about things like that, right? And I'm just telling y'all what I'm observing. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and lie to y'all. Like, my perception going into the case, the prosecution knows what our perception is going to be. They know that they've made it a race thing. And so they have been very strategic in how they have been putting these witnesses on. Because even me, I'm thinking, I said, these probably ain't nothing but some redneck, kids. And that doesn't mean that he's not a bully. And that doesn't mean that he likes black people, because I don't know the Metcalfs. You get what I'm saying? I don't know them. You know, like I don't know Austin, or you know what I mean? I don't know Hunter, because they could very well play sports, have black friends, and still not like black people. You get what I'm saying? However, outside of the case, from my observation, like a lot of his school members have been coming to the court. They have been black, they have been white. And I look at how the mom like embraces them. Now, some people could say, hey, the mom probably being performative. I don't know. It doesn't seem like it to me, because I look at the fact of, it's not just how she is like embracing the kids and hugging the kids and stuff. It's how they like loving on her and wanting to make sure like she, you know, she has support and stuff like that. And they don't give that. Now, I will be honest. The mom, to me, I don't really get like racist. You get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? I get, like, she seems like a loving mom, like, you know what I mean? Like just from looking. However, there are other people in the family that I get that vibe from, but I don't get that vibe from the mama. You know what I'm saying? And so now, as far as the other people, like the father and like some of the other like women in the family, I don't know. Some of them give the black bitch, you know what I mean? But I don't know. So anyways, that's neither here nor there. But I'm just saying, like, just looking at it overall, I feel like the biggest hurdle is going to be that why he had the knife. Why he had the knife. Why was it there? Because to me, it's clear they bullied him. It's clear that he was within his rights to defend himself, but the question is, was he within his rights to stab? But the optics, he's, like I said, he's going to have to put us in his mind, because in my mind, I'm thinking, it's me, I'm by myself, the guy who I thought was cool.
Exactly, he by
done
himself.
turned on me. Now it's me against him. You got this big, brolic linebacker of a dude in my face or trying to, punk me. Because that's another thing that they're not, like, explaining, like, you know what I mean? Like, they were trying to punk him. And I don't know that the defense is, because they're letting the prosecution paint this picture as, like, oh, he goaded them, he provoked them. No, they were trying to punk him. And because he stood up for himself, then it's being shaped a particular way because he had a weapon that he wasn't supposed to have. It's clear he was bullied. It's clear they thought they can bully him because of his size. It's clear that they're trying to downplay each person's role because they're like, they want to take up for their friend. It's clear that he was not a threat to them before Austin put his hands on him. However, what is not clear, which maybe again will be cleared up when he testifies, is if he had, like, what situation made him feel like he needed a knife on him. Now, in my opinion, right, me experiencing Collin County, it's very racist, okay? Very racist. Like, the people, like, I've never dealt with this level of racism. And it's dangerous racism because they got the white.
Well, Neek, welcome to Texas.
Lie, like, because they're white, they already have that, like, you know what I mean? Like, if they lie on you, like, you're black, right? I'm black. So they automatically look at us a particular way. And so when you have white people, when they on their Karen shit, they're going to automatically take their word over yours. Just because of that's how racism works. They put them here and they put us here.
Unfortunately.
I don't feel like they're above me, but I'm just saying, racist, you know what I mean? They're the ones that are, in positions to keep it that way, right? And so in this area, what I've even been experiencing from myself is, you go to the officials or you go to the people, they're not going to do anything about it, right? Because these is like, you know what I mean? Like, the kids in the schools or the officials, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know their stats as far as how they deal with bullying, but I can't see the fact of like how I've been experiencing racism in this town, I can't see that it would be any different for Black kids in those schools. So in my opinion, it gives that you got to defend yourself because the officials don't have your best interest at heart. Like, and so the same way that they're operating at court and they are not taking the threats to our lives serious, and there are, you know what I mean? I can only imagine that it's probably the same thing at those schools, to the point to where a kid may feel like, hey, this school not gonna do nothing when I get bullied.
Yeah.
Like, I gotta have me because the school not gonna have my back. I can imagine, like, my only experience is Collin County Courthouse, and each day, like, you know, at first they was like very nice, this, that, but then as the days go by, you start, like, you know, the mask starts to slip, and you see that they gonna back each other. You get what I'm saying? So if you know that they're not gonna have your back, even when, because this is the thing, they will know that the other person is wrong, right? It'll be a white person. They will know that they're wrong. There will be evidence, right? Because in my case, all you gotta do, pull the surveillance.
Yep.
Every interaction we have, Finn is involved in almost every single one of them, 99 point something percent. And
surveillance. Pull the surveillance. And, you know what I mean? Just my experiences at that courthouse, I can stand on any claim that I have made can be verified if y'all pull this surveillance. And I need to figure out, you know what I mean, on certain things like that, like how like, is that a way like to pull the surveillance to prove certain things, right? But even when they can verify that that person is in the wrong, right? But they back each other. So I can only imagine that a school would be the same way. And you have experiences that show these people, they're not really gonna, like, you gotta, like, you know what I mean? It's me. Like, I gotta defend me. You get what I'm saying? So we're gonna have to see what he says and how he explains it. Okay. Now, going to the testimony, I have the testimony for yesterday. There was a lot of people who testified yesterday and a lot of people who testified today. Do you guys want me to go over, do you guys want me to start with all of the testimony from today? Or do you want me to start from yesterday and then go all the way through? Like, start from yesterday and then just read everything through? Or do y'all want, like, what happened today? Let me know. Let me know. Go in order. Some people are saying today. Some people are saying yesterday. Today, yesterday. Y'all understand, like, y'all not making it easy. Somebody said yesterday, so to make sense. And before I do that, let me let y'all know. Okay, so hold on. Have y'all, as y'all coming on in, before we go into the actual testimony, have you guys liked the video? Have y'all shared the video? Oh yeah, let me put up a poll and ask. But I feel like by the time I put up a poll, it's gonna be time to get to the next thing. What was I about to do? Like the video. Okay. And also, out here in Texas, like, I would really appreciate if y'all donate to the channel. This has been a very, very, very different experience for me. I've experienced racism like no other. Like, you will literally have people who they are documenting their harassment. Like, they show that they have pictures where they're harassing people. You make a claim and you're saying, like, listen, these people are harassing me, and people are like, you're lying, even though you don't have harassing things on your page. You're not following people, like, you're not, you know what I mean? All of those things. But you will see that, like, they literally are doxing people. They are, following people around, photographing them. They're literally documenting their harassment. But they will say that you're harassing them, and people will be like, oh my God, poor you, even though all the harassment that they're doing is on their page. It's crazy. But anyways, so y'all said go in order. Okay, so we're gonna start from yesterday, but I'm gonna need y'all to support. This is, like I said, this is a trial like no other. Neek at Night Media is the Cash App. My uncle has been holding it down with me out there. He has been making sure I'm cool. Yesterday, when some incidents happened, I had told him earlier to leave, but we are not having that any longer. Like, he's not gonna leave my side. But I do want to bless him for making sure that I'm safe and making sure that there are other protocols happening to make sure that. But I do want to bless him, and I also want to we got to cover, some travel expenses, all of those things like that. If y'all want the true unbiased reporting, okay, check out my page, check out Queen Sheba page. The North Carolina Beat was covering this as well. Dennis Byron has been covering this as well. There's so many people that are here at the courthouse and everything covering this. Check out Dennis, check out Sheba, check out Gerald from the NC Beat. Okay, there's other people at the courthouse, but I don't know their
Ladies and gentlemen, Twice Yearly Prep is here. One office visit every 6 months, 2 times a year for HIV.
People at the courthouse, but I don't know I don't know everybody's handle. But you got Queen Sheba, you got Dennis Byron, you have Gerald from the NCB, and you got me. I'm about to give it to y'all with the facts. I'm not driven by racism. Okay, so I'm not gonna skew the facts because other people are skewing facts. I'm gonna tell y'all the facts straight up, and this is how this coming through in the court, because that's how it's coming through in the court. Period. All right. So let's go to yesterday's testimony. It started with chaos in the beginning. Okay, it was complete anarchy in the beginning. It was total mayhem. Y'all seen how everything was going on. Oh, and another thing, there has been several people coming out to cover this trial. There has also been people who have not been going into the courtroom that have been recording the line, right? I want anybody who has been coming down to Collin County and you guys have been covering the line, please send me videos of your coverage of the line. It is very important, and I'll tell you why it's important later. But if you've been on my Instagram, then you probably got an inkling. But some people are lying about the way that the line situation is going. I know day one, there was a TikToker that documented the line and showed that it was her, another girl, and me in line first at the courthouse. And there's a video that proves that and proves that other people were not there and proves that they were not there before me. So anybody else that has video of the line, video when I'm walking to the line, video when I get in the line, because there's other people who have video that you probably have it in your phone and you probably haven't uploaded it. Please email me, neek@night1, because it is so many people with cameras out there before they make it in a courtroom that are taking video of the line please send me your videos that prove when I arrived, proved when I got into the line, and proved when I made it in the courtroom. I don't have a video of me recording the line because my intention is to go in the courtroom, and you cannot bring your phone in the courtroom. So it doesn't make sense for me to line up with my phone
Right.
to go in a courtroom that I can't bring my phone in. So I don't have my phone when I'm going in the courtroom because you can't bring your phone in the courtroom. But there's other people who have been in the line who didn't make it in the courtroom, or they walking up and they have their phone and they're documenting their experience. And some of you guys have caught me on video walking to the line. Neek@night1 is my Gmail. Please email me all of your videos. But that's all I'm going to say about that for right now. Because we can always refute things with facts. I prefer to, instead of having like this person lie and da-da-da, just, you know what I mean? Anyways, y'all get my drift. So, back to the case. We're going to start with yesterday's testimony. Grab your snacks. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Make sure if you ain't got $5, $10 to tip, $20 to tip the travel fund, make sure at minimum you are hitting the like button and hitting the share button as well, okay? Make sure you are doing both of those things, and let's get into it. Okay, so yesterday we started out the day with a witness by the name of Neil Adams. All right, so Neil Adams was a firefighter paramedic, and he was one of the people who came and arrived and started to work on Austin Metcalf. All right, so I'm just going to read through the testimony. Basically, for those of you guys who are new here and those of you guys who have never seen my coverage before, I cover high-profile cases. I've covered the Diddy trial. I've covered the Tory Lanez trial. I've covered T.I. and Tiny OMG Dolls trial. I've covered A$AP Rocky trial. I've covered, who else? The Nature Boy trial. Every single trial that I have covered, major publications have picked up my factual and accurate reporting. My coverage of the Nature Boy trial ended up in the Hulu documentary, The Cult of Nature Boy. My coverage in the Tory Lanez trial ended up on TMZ, all of the major publications, in Hulu documentaries, all kind of documentaries. I don't even know all the names because there was so many Tory Lanez stuff being made. And my receipts were the ones that was being used. For the Diddy trial, we ended up on CNN for our factual and accurate reporting. And for the A$AP Rocky trial, I was able to interview a juror that was seen on TMZ and written up in articles. Also, we had interviewed a juror after the case had wrapped in a mistrial for the T.I. and Tiny situation. We interviewed a juror in that case. After the verdict was read with A$AP Rocky, our interview with the juror upon the verdict made it to all kind of major publications. So we cover these trials, and our coverage, because no matter what, we keep it real, no matter what it is, has landed in a lot of things. So if you guys are new here, I cover trials. I go all over, and we've done this. Somebody said YSL, right. Also, I cover celebrity news. I cover trending stories. I really like to cover like femicide, where there is situations that are happening to women. But my primary audience is Black people, because that is my culture and that is who I talk about. I don't normally have racist or, certain people in my spaces, but we welcome everybody over here because we are not hateful. Okay, we have people that watch us from every nationality. Even though it's not my highest demographic is Black people. There are people of all races. Like Riley is one of my consistent followers that is a white woman. Like she been with me for years, baby, like years. Okay, we got racists from everybody. Everybody like different races, but the highest demographic is Black. But we welcome everybody. All right. So let's get to the commentary. Make sure you guys are tipping the Cash App because we got to make sure Unc is blessed for coming out here. We got to make sure that you know what I'm saying, is covered because there's a lot going on and so on and so forth. So, all right. So the first person was the firefighter. Now the prosecution, they are like, I keep what he doing, but I don't know that. And Shannon said this white lady loves you. Thank you, Shannon. The prosecution is slick. So let me tell you what he did yesterday.
Travel is about getting lost in the best way possible. Losing yourself in a new environment, in different sights and sounds, in moments with people who matter most. Minutes from the city.
Let me tell you what he did yesterday. Yesterday, they were about to play the video where Austin was getting worked on and his face was pale and his like he was like basically the video where he was losing his life and stuff. The prosecution, he gonna be like, telling the paramedic guy, like, we've looked at this video, right? We've made sure that this isn't something too graphic for the family. This wasn't something too graphic that they can't watch, right? And then the guy is like, this is cool for the family to watch, right? Like, it's not too graphic, it's cool. And then so he's saying that within earshot of the jury. And then what do? Put a video on of this young boy losing his life, colorless in the face, bloody, and what does the family do? Immediately lose it. But he knew that. It's like the strategies that they were using, it's like Karmelo's lawyer better get in the game because at this point, is, you know what I mean? Like the range is 5 to 99 or 2 to 20. And how well he does goes from that range down to a not guilty. And I'm not saying that it can't be a not guilty, but he really needs to get in the game. Okay? His co-counsel is good, but they need to drive some other stuff home. But we still have not heard the full case. So, anyways, the prosecution is doing little stuff. Also, what the prosecution did today, in front of the jury, he made it a big thing to be like, to tell the Metcalf family to leave out. Right? No, I think the jury had left. Wait, was the jury in there? I think the jury was in there. And then he was like, leave. Like, I need y'all to leave. Like, because the medical examiner was about to come and testify. So I'm thinking, oh my God, like they about to put some graphic pictures and we all gonna see because they're making the family go. Like it must be something like so crazy that they're not gonna be able to handle it. He put on this big charade about how the family needs to leave and how he suggests that they leave and it's important that they leave. Then when the medical examiner came to testify, he doing like this with the pictures. Say this the jury. Hold Let me grab my empty pack of gum. Oh, this is green, so you can't see this. Hold on. Let me see what else I could get right here. My phone. Right? Okay, stay this is my phone. I mean, this is the jury. This is him. This is the okay, so the family is right here. Then the jury, hold on, anyways, he doing like this, showing the jury. Like, let's say the family is behind me, right? Or the family had left. Right? The family had left. It was like one or two family, but all of his like friends was still in there. He put on this big charade about how they needed to leave, right? But this how he's showing it to the jury. They don't put it on the monitors. When she actually showed the pictures of like his heart, his cut, all of that, he doing like this to show it to the jury. Like, say somebody behind me and you making sure they don't see, this how he's showing it to the jury. So I'm like, if you knew you was gonna show it to the jury like that to make sure nobody in the gallery seen, what was that big charade about making this grand exit for the family? It's all strategy, okay? It is all strategy, and I'm gonna see what happens next week. But maybe they gonna get some better strategy, but the prosecution is playing the game. You feel me? They you know, anyways, back to the, cause he put on his whole thing, so I'm thinking, I'm like, oh my God, what are we about to watch? Oh my God, like, I'm thinking, the girl next to me, she like, oh, I don't know, I wanna see this. She like, oh my God, I wanna see this. So, and I'm thinking like, damn, I'm thinking to myself like, fuck, do I wanna mentally see this? Should I leave? Should I stay? Should I leave?
Copy that. En route to the scene. Drop it now. Stay still, punk. Keep moving.
Should I stay? Should I leave? And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna just stay because I'm here and I gotta, you know what I mean? I wanna, like, whatever is shown, I wanna be able to tell y'all. So we waiting like, oh my God, they about to show the pictures. For him to go like this to the jury. Like this, all of us in the gallery, he doing like this. And he doing like, anyways, all right, I said anyways too much. Like, let me get to the testimony. All right, so the testimony, it was the witness by the name of Neil Adams. He was a firefighter. He worked for the fire department. Okay, and also too, right? This is the last thing. I'm gonna get on topic of the. Whenever I'm in court, I write down as much as I can, but I'm writing it with a pen and a paper so I don't catch everything. So sometimes I gotta paraphrase, right? This is not a transcript of court. This is me writing as much as I can, and sometimes I have to like shorten stuff and paraphrase. So we're gonna get to it. Somebody said, dude, you're doing too much. You're welcome to watch anybody else's coverage that is there. Queen Sheba is an awesome blogger. She's in the courtroom. If I'm doing too much, watch her. She does awesome commentary. Gerald from the NCB, Dennis, all of them, like, check their pages out. So anyways, so the paramedic. So, okay, so first they get a background of his background. So it says he graduated high school. He went to the fire academy. He went back home to be a paramedic firefighter and EMT through the state of Texas. He does life-saving treatments. He gives drugs and performs skills done at the hospital. They have a doctor that has strict guidelines for them to perform care. At certain points of a person doesn't want, like, so basically they ask them, like, is there anybody that you don't like work on? Like, if somebody needs help and they tell you, that they don't want your help. Like, what do you do? And he was basically saying, like, there's a scale that they have to, like, weigh. And if the person says that they don't need treatment and they meet a certain criteria, then they won't treat them. But if they are the other way on the criteria, like, and he didn't say life-saving measures, but certain things like that, like, they got to treat them regardless of what the person says. And that's me paraphrasing. So anyways, so they wanted to take him back to April 2nd and how all of that went. So it said on April 2nd, he was working at Station 6. He received what's called a tone out, that they got a stabbing at the stadium, and him and his partner responded to the call. Dispatch put in notes, so they kind of already got a feel of kind of what they were walking into. And in the notes, it basically said it was a track meet, and they knew that it was kids there. And there was already another station that was kind of like en route that was the closest. But they basically also still were en route to respond. It says that when they got there was a paramedic team that was there, but because he was like the one in charge, he took over once he got there. So he says that he had 5 operations, and his partner on the ambulance and 3-1, the engine one, said it took them about 6 to 7 minutes to arrive. They said when they arrived, it was wet and mist was falling and to rain, and it got more like it started raining more like closer to the time that they were there. It says when they first got there, it was kind of a drizzle, but then it started raining hard at one point. It says that when they got there, he was laying, and the paramedic jumped in. He got in charge. It says then they showed a photo of the paramedics under the tent. So what they showed was, okay, so take us to the day of, like, is this picture a reflection of the environment when you showed up? So basically they showed a picture of like an ambulance, like paramedic truck, and they showed the bleachers where they had the tent for their school.
Introducing the Spectricide Wasp, Hornet, and Yellow Jacket trap with a lure that's
tent for their school over the area where they were working on Austin. So he says that he said at first the tent wasn't there, but once it started to rain hard, they went and got the tent from where it was, and then they put it over Austin, so that while they're working on him, it's not like rain falling on him. So they went and moved the tent from the bleachers. And then it says that he parked. He immediately ran down to where the crew was. He checked to see like the pupils, if the pupils were dilated. He said that when he got there, Austin was gray in color and he did not have a post. He said that he had to use what's called a chest Lucas device in place, and they were using the machine to do CPR. So basically, he comes up, they have this machine that is helping them do CPR. So when they played the body cam, we can hear the machine, and the machine was basically like 1, 2, 3. Like it was telling you like when to do like your press, like your count for your CPR. So it says that they were using the machine to do CPR, and there was a rhythm, but he didn't have a pulse. So they were like, so basically what that means is he was flatlined, right? And so it says at that moment, they got IO. They gave him 7 milligrams, and then they moved him from the bleachers to the back of the ambulance. They gave him some units of blood, and they went through his rib cage and opened up his rib cage. They stuck their fingers in and pulled out blood in his chest cavity. They said he never from that point regained consciousness. They continued to monitor and doing everything that they could, but it was looking like it was very grim. So it says, so that was what came out from the prosecution. So then the defense, it says the report looks like you got there within, I think this says 6 minutes. Thank you for your service. And then they went to the next witness. So the next witness was Officer Cortez. So it was Officer Eduardo Cortez, and he was the one who actually we saw the body cam footage with. And it says he was an officer for the Frisco PD. He was 45 years old. He was in the United States Reserve. He decided to do a career change and decided to get into law enforcement. It says after they gave like a brief description of like, you know, his life experience or whatever, he decided that he wanted to like be an impact for the community, and he decided that he wanted to be a police officer. So it says that on April 2nd, when this all happened, he got a call over the radio at Staley Middle School. As soon as he got the call, he went to the stadium. After the stadium call came in, he kind of looked at the notes that the dispatch had put in and headed over to the area that it was. So he works at a school that's literally like right next to where this situation happened. It says from there was 2 high school age students. They said the victim was under the memorial tent. So he saw a crowd of folks under that tent. He located the suspect. He continued down the hill that divides the track and stadium area, made his way towards the bleachers. There was an adult on the track side of the field. The man said, "That's the suspect." I looked at his clothing. I had the suspect raise his hands in the air. And I then had, so when he arrived, the Karmelo was on one side of the fence and he was on another side of the fence. And so he told Karmelo, like, keep your hands in the air and then walk until they can get to an opening where he can come and retrieve him. So he said that he told him to like walk until they had like an opening in the fence. He called the suspect with him. He told him to walk with me along the fence line. He was cooperative with the command. He had a body cam on, continued to give instructions, and placed him in handcuffs and went to dispatch radio. Said there was an alleged suspect detained. For safety, he alerted other officers that they didn't have to rush over there because he already had the suspect. It says he was the one who put Karmelo in cuffs, but he said when he went to radio, like he got there and he had to radio like to all the other responding units that they didn't have to like rush because he already got the suspect. Everybody was like trying to make a dash to try to get the suspect. He radioed and was like, "Hey, I got the alleged suspect." And Karmelo offered the words, "It's not alleged, I did it." Okay? So he said, he put his hands on me. I told him not to. At this point, Officer Ricky comes up, who also had a body cam on, as we escorted him out and asked if the victim is going. Okay, so as they're escorting him out, like they have him handcuffed, Karmelo asks him, he's like, "Is he gonna be okay?" Like very concerned about the victim. He says, "Is he gonna be okay?" And so it says that he escorted him out, asked if the victim is gonna be okay, and the officer told him that he didn't know. Like, I don't know. He noticed an injury to Karmelo's hands. He had blood on his middle finger, and he had to listen close to see what Karmelo said after reviewing the body cam footage. There was no incident during transport. So basically, when they were trying to like get Karmelo in cuffs into the car, he didn't give them no resistance. He didn't get them any type of like he wasn't resisting arrest. He didn't make it hard. Like, he didn't try to run. He didn't try to escape. He just accepted what was going on. He expressed concern for the victim, and they took him to the car smoothly.
After 33 years serving businesses in the CSRA, IntelliSystems has become a name you know and trust. We protect businesses from the problems they never see coming. Cyber threats, downtime, data loss, one issue can bring everything to a complete stop. Our certified experts have helped hundreds of local companies stay secure, productive, and confident. If you're worried your business could be next, let's talk. Schedule a cyber defense assurance audit today.
Smoothly. It says, so after that, then they put on the video of the officer running from his school site to where Karmelo is. So they start the body cam. You see him running, trying to get to the area where they say that Karmelo is. He makes contact with Karmelo. He gets him. And once he gets him, that's when he told Karmelo to put his hands in the air, and he had him walk along the fence. And then he said that he was cooperative and he complied. They then showed a photo of Karmelo's hands in cuffs with a cut on his left middle finger while he was sitting in the back of a police car. They said, "Are you familiar with the weapons policy?" And that they are prohibited. So when the officer was testifying, they put up a picture of the weapons policy. Actually, you know what? I should have did this before I went live, but let me see. ISD policy sign. Let me see if there's images of it. If I can't find, let's see.
Come on, Nick. I'll be right back.
Okay, I don't see the one that they showed in court. We'll move on. I was seeing if I could do a quick Google to show the sign that they showed in court. But anyways, so, all right, so let's get back to it. Okay, so they showed a sign. So when you go to that stadium, they have a sign that is on the fence. It's a big blue banner sign. And on the sign, it says alcohol. Okay, so it says field and track event. Hold on, let me see. Let me put field and track event sign. Okay, I can't find it. I'll probably just have to look up photos of that stadium to get it. But anyways, I'll just read to y'all. So they showed a sign on the fence. There's this big blue banner sign. On the sign, it said, field and track is for events only. And then it listed what things are prohibited into the stadium. It says tobacco, alcohol, drugs, weapons, and pets are strictly prohibited all ISD property. So they make sure to tell the officer, hey, are you aware of the weapons policy? And then they put up this big sign that clearly states that weapons are prohibited, and you're not to have weapons, you're not to have drugs, you're not to have tobacco, and you're not to have alcohol on all ISD property. So after they show the picture of that sign, then they show the officer's body cam. And they say that, okay, so how does your body cam work? Like when you go to a scene of a crime, does your body cam just automatically start? Or does your body cam have to be activated? Okay? So the body cam has to be activated. So when he sees that there might be a situation going on, he can start the body cam and he has the power to stop the body cam. Okay? Period. So it says,
It's definitely not for everyone, though, especially since it's still a startup company, with this being their only product.
So it says, I wrote, they showed the body cam and they explained how he has to turn on his body cam, and that's what he did that morning. They showed a 4-minute clip of his body cam where he runs up, he gets Karmelo, he radioed in, and he says, I have the alleged suspect. And then when he says, I have the alleged suspect, then you heard Karmelo cry. Karmelo starts crying, and he says, he put his hands on me. I told him not to. Like, he started crying. And then he said, is he going to be okay? And then that's what he asked the police. And the police, he asked the one in the police car, and then he tell him, he was able to answer questions calm, and then they wanted to know, why did he want to know how old Karmelo was? And so he said, in the state of Texas, if you're 17, you are considered an adult. But if you're 16 and younger, you're considered juvenile. So in Texas, it's very important for them to be able to establish any students that they're dealing with age first, because that determines if they go to the juvenile jail or if they go to the big boy jail. Okay? So then, after they said that, it says you're considered a juvenile if you're 16 and younger. And then after that, they showed a different angle of the body cam. So there was another officer that came and they showed her body cam footage. And you can hear on her body cam a little bit clearer than you can hear his body cam, where Karmelo responded, and he says, when the officer radios and says, hey, I got the alleged suspect, you guys can slow down. Karmelo says, I'm not alleged, I did it. Like, so he's like letting them know, like, you got the guy, like, I did it, like, I'm owning up, like, I did do it, like, it was me. So then it was time for the defense to go. And they wanted to know, so you were the first to arrive and identify Karmelo. He said, I want to talk first about your training. You go through a training period with the academy. It's important to document everything correctly.
Okay,
you
I'm
made
back.
an incident report and you documented was accurate. Is that fair? That's fair to say. The video starts when you turn it on to when you take Melo to the car, and the full body cam shows all the way to the jail. They wanted to know, do you recall seeing when the coach put his arms around Karmelo? And he was like, I don't recall. Is it fair to say Melo was emotional? He said, at times. But at the time he said he put his hands on me, he was emotional. And so he said that he said that in his report, like you put in your report that he was emotional, basically. And they said in the car, he was also emotional throughout, fair? So then the officer says, I don't remember. So the defense is like, you put it in your report that he was emotional, right? Like, well, when he made that one statement, he was emotional, but I don't know, like, that's kind of what, like, it was given, like, yeah, I may have put he was emotional on the report, but I was only referring to that one time when he said he put his hands on me. Any other time, I don't know if he was emotional or not. So the guy was like, okay, so you didn't see tears? Like, you didn't hear his tone? Like, you weren't able to, like, discern his emotions? Because the officer was trying to make it seem like, I don't know, I wasn't really paying attention like that. So he was like, but you can hear when he was crying, though, right? Like, you can hear his tone, right? Like, so when he's going through this spat about trying to get him to be more forthcoming about Karmelo being emotional,
It's not a phase. It's the doodle lifestyle. The innovative Furminator doodle grooming system tames coat chaos. It detangles, tackles mats, and keeps curls clean and soft. Furminator, designed for doodles.
All right, team, listen up. I've changed my mind. I'm gonna add the truffle butter filet mignon.
Oh, that's a great decision, boss.
I'll take the miso chicken. See, that's for me.
I'm gonna do the blackened salmon.
Sweet and sour shrimp for me.
I looked and I panned and I looked at one of the jurors. One of the male, like the older guys, he like gave like the defense like this smug look, like he didn't do that gesture, but in my head, the way like the smug look, like he giving him that, like, I don't know how to explain it, but that white man looked like he didn't do, like, it's hard to describe because he didn't make his face didn't move. I'm just a black woman, so like that's how, like, my facial expression of what he did would be like, he didn't do that. He was like, I don't know how to explain it, but he just had that, the white man version of without moving. I don't know how to say it, but anyways. So the lawyer was basically trying to, like, tell him, like, you did hear him crying, though. Like, you heard crying sounds, right? And he says, yes. So it says, when you first arrived, there is a fence between you and Melo, fair? And then that's when I put my note in about the juror. Then it says, Karmelo, he was not resistant, and he complied when he was given his name, and he even offered to spell it. It's common for suspects not to give their names, like, when they commit a crime, right? Like, sometimes they'll give you a fake name. And then he said, they probably have. He said, but Karmelo didn't do that. Like, he was the defense was trying to drive home the fact that Karmelo was forthcoming with you, right? Like, he wasn't trying to give you a fake name. He wasn't trying to give you a hard time. Like, that's kind of what they're trying to drive home. But the officer is trying to, like, downplay everything as much as possible. He's trying to make it seem like he don't really, like, I don't know, sometimes maybe they do get fake names. I don't know, they may have. I'm sure they have before. Like, that kind of thing. Because the officer was like, you know, like we know, like, anybody that has watched a cop show or watched true crime, we've all seen interactions on true crime shows and like cop shows where people give fake names all the time. But the officer is like, they may have, like, maybe, like they may have. So, I put a note and I said, the witness is a little hostile with the defense due to him asking about the statement that he made in his report about Karmelo being emotional. It says, they said, well, Melo made that statement on his own. And it says, you have had suspects that don't give a name. It's very common, right? He said, it's happened in my career. He said, it's happened in my career. Like, I mean, I'm sure it happened before. That's kind of like what it gave, like it wasn't like a normal, like a current thing. Like, it's happened in my career. So he said, okay, so on the way to the car, so then after that, he wanted to bring up the statement that Karmelo made on the way to the car when he made the statement, like, he got emotional. He's like, he put his hands on me. So the defense was basically trying to ask, like, okay, so when exactly did he make the statement about him putting his hands on me? The guy looked at the juror and said, he looked at the jury and he said, I don't remember when it was he said it, but whatever the video shows, that's when he said it.
Really? Really?
I was like, oh, like, this is getting awkward. Because the guy is just trying to point out that you put it in a report that Karmelo was emotional. You heard him being emotional. You literally have body cam of him crying. All I'm trying to do is to flesh out you to elaborate on your experience with him being emotional, and now suddenly you got amnesia. And it only happened once, and it wasn't really, and you're not really trying to give.
Are you worried that using your home address for business puts your privacy at risk? At iPostal One, we can help. So, you've started your own company, but feel unsafe using your home address for business use. Not only does every customer and vendor see where you live, creepy, but you could be at risk for identity theft, property damage, and much more. With iPostal One, you can get a real physical street address to use for your business, so your personal address stays protected. Choose an address from any of the thousands in our network where you can receive mail and packages from any carrier. Easily view and manage your mail and packages with our app or online. Forward, scan mail content, pick up or discard your mail. You can even use your iPostal One address with your business registration. Begin protecting your privacy today with a digital mailbox from iPostal1.com.
Memories are best made when shared. Fun and excitement more felt when we're with people we love. Whether new friends or no, young or old, adventure is for all. And we are all for adventure. Book yours today at thegorgezipline.com.
If what you put in this report, like you put in your report, it's not just on the body cam, like you put this in your report that he was emotional. And so now you trying to act like if he was emotional, y'all seen the body cam, you know when he said it. Y'all watched the video already. Like that was kind of his attitude. Like I was like, what's that about? So then he started asking him about if he is aware of times people have killed people with their hands. Because he's like, okay, so let's get off of that. in your career, you know that there are times when people have even killed people with their hands before. And then the officer was like, I'm like, I don't know, like, that's kind of like what he was giving, like,
Okay, this is part one of what Nick had. I'm gonna try my best to come back with part two later, but unfortunately, I'm getting a little bit sleepy. Like, share, subscribe. Holler at y'all later. Peace.